Hey me ducks, it's Simon here. I hope you're all okay. Welcome to the Hermit's Cave. So, here it is. The video that I always said I would do and have never done. And the reason why I've never done it is because I thought it would be impossible to do. And if I'm honest, this probably has taken about, I don't know, 3 or 4 months of me using the notes section of my iPad. And every time I think, yeah, that deck has to make my top 10, I've added it. And there's been a very recent edition, which meant something has come out. And I've got to get past that feeling of being disloyal because, you know, these are just decks of cards, but they're not, are they? When we're talking about tarot and we're talking about spiritual tools that aid us and assist us in our life, then it's so much more than just 78 pieces of card or paper. Technically, that's all it is. But as I said, these are trusted tools that we know and love. So it's not an easy task to do. That said, I have done it. I think I'm happy with my final 10. I am going to preface it by saying that when it comes to RWS, and you know if you've watched my channel for any amount of time, that I have around 50 different variations on the RWS tarot. I don't mean decks that follow an RWS system. I probably have around 400 of them, but you know, clones of Pamela Colman Smith's art. So I'm going to get it out the way first because you all know it's going to be there anyway. And my favorite, of course, is the Blushing Fool. The reason why I love this so much is just because I've never felt cardstock like this. Even the yellow box doesn't feel like this, the Blushing Fool yellow box. The blue box, 1971 Blushing Fool, is soft and buttery, no lamination, no copyright, beautiful clear. Here's our sunburnt High Priestess, beautiful and clear. This deck is 50 years old next year, and it is in mint condition, and I just love it. Now, and I have done them before, I have done top 10 RWS decks, and that's not what this video is. And you know, I wanted to put in the CS Tarot, I wanted to put in the Dirty Pam, but then it wouldn't be a top 10 deck, a top 10 tarot. It would be a top 10 RWS. So I've decided just to put one original RWS deck in, and this is my soul deck. As you know, this is my ultimate deck. If I could only have one tarot deck for the rest of my life, it would be this deck, because for me it's just perfect. It's everything I want from an RWS deck in every way. So that is mine, and there's no point leaving it till the end. I'm not doing a top 10 as in 10 place, in the 10th place, in the 9th place. I'm just showing my 10 favorite all-time favorite tarot decks as it stands as of this date, which is the 12th of July 2020. You know, and this time next year there could be other decks in that top 10, decks that I'm not even aware of being in existence yet. Just like there is a deck here now. That's interesting. I was going to say my Lovers is reversed, which is my life path card, but so was the Five of Wands. It speaks volumes. There's our beautiful Blushing Fool. Because there's a deck in here that I've only had a matter of weeks, which is automatically my top 10. So there's no point doing the countdown because everybody knows this will be number one who knows me well. So that's that one out of the way. The next deck that I want to talk about, which I think is a wonderful, wonderful deck, is the Druid Craft. Okay, so yeah, I have two versions of the Druid Craft because the cards, as I said, are massive. This one I trimmed, where I took off 3 sides basically, but left the titles at the bottom. And then this one that my friend Elaine Macron took completely made it naked. But look at the colour differences. It's quite unbelievable, isn't it? You know, this has kind of got like a green, a skin tone is green, whereas it's more natural and fleshy here. This is the star card. But I love the Druid Craft, absolutely love it. I know it so well that, you know, I can use it without any of the titles. It does follow the RWS system. Here's the Sun card, the baby on the horse, etc. And it's just wonderful. It's one of the first decks that I got, and I never get bored of using it. I think it's very pagan. It's Celtic. I love that it's got like references to like you've got the Glastonbury tour and things like that in there. Look at that for Rebirth, which is, you know, card number 20, which the Judgment card. But that Rebirth is beautiful. All the kind of Celtic designs in the rock work. It's really a stunning deck. Very earthy. Lots of greenery and landscapes. Look at that for the 8 of Cups. And I couldn't be without this deck. I really couldn't. And this is why it's gone into my top 10. And I think, you know, every time I've done like favorite decks or top 5 decks and that sort of thing, then this has always made it in there because it is just so wonderful. It gives me such good feels when I work with it. It's powerful, it's intuitive. I read it so intuitively, and it really resonates deeply. You know, it's very RWS, as you can see, the 6 of Swords, the boat. So yeah, just wonderful. That reminds me of Excalibur. And this I bought at the same time. I love this one. So here we have, you know, card number 14, which is the Temperance card, but there's a car outside. I've had to keep pausing this video. I do apologise. I've shut all the windows. It is just parked outside, revving, and I don't know why. But we're just going to have to ignore it. Otherwise, I'm going to be here all night. It's already like 11 p.m. But this, you know, the tour here just reminds me of the Glastonbury tour and the Chalice Well at the bottom. Oh, it's just wonderful. And we have Canunos here for the Devil card, which, here's our lovers. And it's just, look at that. It's just wonderful. Love the Druid Craft Tarot. So that deck is in my top 10. Pop them away. The next deck that is in my top 10 that I absolutely love is the Everyday Enchantment Tarot by Poppy Palin. This deck is just wonderful, absolutely wonderful. It's colourful. It's just life. And what I love about the artwork, this is a Schiffer deck, so the cardstock is really beautiful. Again, it's one I trimmed down on 3 sides, massive borders on it. I do have an untouched version of it as a backup, and most of these that I have here I have backups for. But this deck depicts life in modern Britain. As you can see here, it's very modern, and I love Poppy's artwork. I love the facial expressions. I love the emotion in the characters within this deck. But the scenes, she takes each of the archetypes of the card and just depicts what that archetype means to her in modern Britain. And here we have the Death card, which is one of my favourite in the decks. You know, there's an elderly lady, a grandmother, talking to a young girl. I think they're related. You know, they've got more or less matching little wellies on, in purple wellies. And there's this spirit. And in each of these cards, there is another worldly creature or sprite or angel or spirit. And that's what it's about. It's the enchantment that we find in everyday situations. And it is so beautiful. You know, we have bar scenes, temperance, the devil, luck, money, flash cars, champagne lifestyle. It's just wonderful. The diversity in this deck is brilliant as well. And lots of deck creators could take a leaf out of Poppy's book here. You know, we've got people who are in wheelchairs. So we have people who aren't able-bodied. We have different ethnic groups. As we can see here, it is, look at this. This is like a Guinness. It's like the back of Coronation Street or somewhere. It is such a British deck. I love that Judgment card. Look at these flowers coming out of the trumpet. And it's wonderful. Here's somebody running with a guide dog. The colour coded with the suits. If it's black, it's a major arcana. Look at that. There's somebody in a wheelchair. Strength, which is just wonderful. I love the lovers. I mean, the different depictions of love here. You know, an elderly couple, a faithful companion, a young couple, these little swans. It's just gorgeous. The Hierophant, look, a teacher. The Emperor, a businessman with his mobile phone, and even things like little astrological symbols and things on the mug. It's an amazing day. Look at the moon, this bag lady, gorgeous. The modern hermit. Look at this little creature, this sprite. The owl outside the window, the moon. Beautiful. His lamp is a study lamp for studying knowledge. The fool working on a scaffold. So yeah, it's just such a wonderful, vibrant deck, and I love it. I love everything about this deck. Look at the world card. Here we have people of different nationalities, and the landscape. England's green and pleasant land, look, being created, knitted, woven together, a tapestry, and all this life form. Butterflies and birds and dolphins and deer, just gorgeous, absolutely beautiful. So that's Everyday Enchantment, which has made it into my top 10 all-time favorite tarot decks. Okay, the next one I want to speak about is the Spacious Tarot, and this is a deck I've had in the last year, and I absolutely love this deck. What I like about this, I've edged it in blue, is that, I mean, the cardstock is dreamy, but it is a bit pippish in parts, but the reason why is that all of the characters, I was going to say the archetypes, but the archetypal energy is still there within the cards. Here's the Fool, look. There's no Fool in the card. And this deck is wonderful if you want to do some form of path working. But you put yourself, you the querent, is in the card. So this is what the Fool sees as he walks towards the edge of that precipice. When you see him looking up at the sky, it's this beautiful sky, the mountain range in the distance, and it's just so wonderful. I love the courts in this. Let me see if I can find some court cards really quickly. The court cards are just wonderful. Look at the Hermit as well. Just this grove of trees and this little lantern. Oh, Four of Swords. Here we are, look. The animals in this. So whilst we don't have humans, we do have some animals, but only for the courts. Little bear, look. The bears are the pentacles. And look at the sun card. It's a sunflower tracking the course of the sun throughout the day. The Devil. It's just beautiful. The Emperor. These rows of poppies in order. Chariot. You get that sense of movement. That pathway through these mountains. Look at the Judgment. Look at the colour beyond through this portal. And look. The Guardian. We have the Elder, the Guardian, Hierophant, these monoliths, these standing stones, Death. You get the white rose from the Death card, from the flag, and these skeletal hands. It's so beautiful. It is wonderful to work with. Look at the High Priestess, this shell. You see the universe, the moon and stars within. It's just gorgeous. There's the Magician, all of his tools, the lemniscate. Absolutely wonderful. So yeah, the Spacious Tarot. I love the Hanged one. It's the world. We're suspended, aren't we? We're suspended in a void. The Lovers, this DNA. I love this card. The Elder of Pentacles is beautiful. And the Five of Pentacles. Look. And the Empress is just stunning. So I love working with Spacious Tarot. It really opens your mind so that when you pull these cards, you have to do some work with them. But absolutely gorgeous. Okay. So the next one is the only Marseille deck that has made it in, kind of. There is a kind of Pippish deck that's going to be in, and Spacious Tarot is Pippish. I love this pouch that Kelly Bear did for this deck. It is perfect. And this is the new choice, Tarot de Marseille. And it's by Ross Salerno. And I love this. Now, he is working on a RWS deck called the New Voice RWS. And who knows if it's out by next year. Or if it had been out now, it would probably be in my top 10, maybe. I love the colours of this. It's a Marseille, but it's so modern. It's based on the Berlin club scene. So you get all these bright, vivacious costumes, but the pips and the cardstock is the nicest cardstock of any deck that I've got. It's just wonderful. Beautifully gilded, beautiful backs. But it is so stunning. Really gorgeous. They have these beautiful flowers. I mean, look at the, just wonderful. Here's the moon card. The colours in this deck are beautiful. Lots of pinks and purples. Look at the Maison Deux. Oh, I love it. Love this deck. Never get bored of it. And I've got 2 copies of this. It is now out of stock. I think he only ever printed 500. Look at these with the horses' heads. So yeah, New Choice Tarot de Marseille, definitely. And I could have put other Marseille decks in there. You know, there's some honourable mentions would be the Lily Stone or the Tarot des Eaux Arcs. I love that one. But this one, look at how beautiful that Ace of Coins. So stunning. Look at the Devil card. Isn't that just amazing? I love the eyes on his knees, on his boots. Yeah, it's really, really beautiful. Beautiful deck. That's off the cover of the box. Here's our Fool. It's a little bit cheeky. Cheeky Fool. Ace of Cups. Beautiful. The pastel colours, it's just gorgeous. Look at the Judgment card. So, New Choice Tarot de Marseille. It's the only Marseille deck that makes my top 10 because I could not mention it. I just love it so much. And I love the little case that Kelly Bear, my friend Kelly, made for me as well. All right, so the Deviant Moon. And that's like my my tattoo. And then here's the eye, which is like the one that Becca had. This was a beautiful gift. I could not mention the Deviant Moon. This is one I edged myself. I edged it in black first and then went over it in gold to give it this kind of antique look. I did interview Patrick Valenza, the creator of this deck, and I showed him what I'd done, and he actually loved it. He said, I really like what you've done. I love the Deviant Moon. Now, it really is a deck that divides opinions. Lots of people that I've gifted it to, and this is a deck I probably gifted the most. I can think of all the people that I've sent copies of this to, and usually it's to try and change people's minds. When they say, oh, I'm not too sure, I'll say, well, let me send you a copy, then you know you're not losing anything. And as I said to Patrick when I interviewed him, I remember it was way before I had a channel. I saw some of these images online and they blew my mind, literally blew my mind, because again, a bit like when I first saw the RWS deck, there was a familiarity to these. They reminded me of some childhood dreams. And when I interviewed Patrick, he told me that the inspiration behind this deck were his childhood dreams. And I believe in a collective consciousness. I believe we're all connected as humans. None of us are separate, and you know that's the thing about archetypes as well, isn't it? You know, we all know them through a collective consciousness, but there was something very comforting about this deck, something that connected me with my inner child. And lots of people talk about using this deck for shadow work, and I haven't really used it for shadow work as such. Well, maybe I have, but that wasn't my intention, but it does reveal things to me. But certainly for inner child work, there is an amazing accompanying book, a big £5 in weight book that goes with this, which is highly recommended by me. I think it is wonderful. But this is an amazing deck to work with. And like I say, I've had it since before I've even had a channel. And the moment I saw them, I had to get this deck. And I couldn't wait for it to arrive. I was dreaming about this deck before I got it. And that doesn't happen to me very often. This is one of my all-time favourite cards ever. And I have this blown up and framed on my wall, which is the Death card. And a lot of people think that this is a mother crushing a child underfoot, and she's not. It's the child who's been born into a world and he wants to go back to the safety of the womb, and the mother who is pregnant again is saying no, you can't, and she's pushing him away, pushing him into the world, saying, you know, life is cyclical, you've got to live your life, you will live, you will die. And there's a new life about to be born. You can't go back. You keep going forward. And, you know, the landscape in these days, it's bleak. But it's just a wonderful representation of that transition of life and death. And I just love this image. I really love it. The devil is quite It's quite mischievous and comical. And lots of people say, oh, I can't work with it, it's too scary. It's not scary for me. You know, I'm not going to say to people it's not scary, because if you find it scary, you find it scary. But what Patrick says in the book about this deck is, you know, if you are disturbed or if you are frightened, then explore why. Why is it? What is it that's in you that when you see images like this, you feel the way you feel? And that's the tarot, isn't it? When we pull a card or we hold the tarot to us, we're holding a mirror. It's our life reflected back. You know, 78 stages of life. And, you know, any of us can pull a card and we'll see something different in it, because it reflects what's going on internally with us as well. So it's great to explore, but it is a wonderful, wonderful deck. And again, I couldn't be without the Deviant Moon. I adore it, and I adore Patrick. I think he's a genius, and such a great artist, and that's why I have, you know, tattoos of his artwork on my arm. Okay, what shall we look at next? Next, I think we will look at the Deck of the Bastard. I love this deck. This one is my plastic copy. I have two versions. A linen cardstock and a plastic cardstock. I love this sun card. Here I have this is my linen cardstock one. Actually, no, that's the wrong way. Do you know, it's hard to tell really. This one, actually, you can tell because it's whiter on the sides. This one is the plastic one. And this one is the linen cardstock. But it almost feels plastic, you know. It's really strange. It's a really thick linen one. You know, you can get some decks where it's quite like make playing cards. When they do the linen, it's very thin. And the beautiful creator, I've got a little crystal in there as well, gifted me this case when I bought my backup deck, which was really lovely. So this is the plastic one. Look at that for a sun card. I absolutely love it. Now, it's called Deck of the Bastard because it is bastardized of various decks, Atea, RWS. It's got different, so you'll see the minors, and when I say minors, that's not including the aces or the courts. 2 through to 10 is RWS, so it's Pix's artwork, which I adore, but it has different courts, as you can see here, different aces and different majors. So there's an ace, for instance. Look at the moon. I love that moon card. So I love Deck of the Bastard. Really love it. It feels like you're hot. Look at that for the devil. I don't know, it just feels like you're holding a really ancient deck, but it's like it's taken the best cards across different tarot systems and merged them into one ultimate deck. And we often hear people in the community, don't we, talking about, oh, if you could take your favorite card out of each deck and create an ultimate deck, what would it look like? Look at the death card. And I love this, really love it. So Deck of the Bastard is one of my favorites. Next one that I want to mention in a another Kelly bag, is the Pagan Otherworlds. Pagan Otherworlds is one of my early decks. These beautiful backs. It's by Usi. I edged this one in gold. I do have one that's edged in blue as well as a backup. The quality of this deck is just so superior. It's linen, but it's like butter. It's absolutely wonderful. This has to be one of the most beautiful tarot decks, in my opinion, ever created. It's classic art, it's oil paintings, it is just incredible, absolutely beautiful. It is kind of a hybrid deck between RWS and Pip, so we see like a card like that which is very RWS, but then here for like the 6 of Pentacles, you do have some scenic imagery, but it's very Pippish as well. And this was the first Pip deck, semi-Pip deck, that I bought. And it's somewhere in between, because, you know, here we have the 7 of Cups. You've got your 7 cups, and you've got the, you know, if you think of the RWS with the different things popping out of the cups, they're just above here in the sky. But you have these pagan landscapes, and it is so wonderful. Look at the Hanged Man. The moon is beautiful. I used to have this on my wall, on a wall hanging, and I just it was like a piece of art. It is just so stunning. How could this not be in my top 10 all-time favorite tarot decks? Just beautiful. Look at the sun. And I know some people don't, but I love faces in suns and moons. There's something very, I don't know, it takes me back to children's books and things like that, you know. They just, you know, those old children's books from the 70s, which was when I was a child. Yeah, seeing the face, the man in the moon and things like that. An old Victorian and pre-Victorian art with faces in moons and suns. I love it. One of my favourite hermits. It's all snow on the ground, he's barefoot, he's got his lantern, the expression on his face, I think it's beautiful. Look at the Queen of Pentacles, isn't that stunning? And when I bought this deck, they send you, Usi send you a art card, and I got the Queen of Pentacles as the art card, and just one, look at that, the pentacle, the detail, look at that. Such an amazing deck. The little frog on the edge, the water, the crystal blue water. Beautiful Temperance card. Every card is a work of art. A magnificent work of art. Masterpieces. That's the Pagan Otherworlds, and one of my all-time favorite decks. I just love it. I think it's still available, and you can even get it on Little Red Tarot, I believe, or you certainly could. Okay, 2 left. You can see that quite a few of my favourite decks have found their way into Kelly bags, wraps. This one is the Light Seers Tarot. I do have as well the mass market version, which was released by Hay House. But I was very fortunate to get the indie deck. I didn't catch it on first release, but there was some more that was put up, and I woke up at something like, I think it was midnight Pacific time, so I made sure I was there dead on 8 o'clock so I could get them, and they sold out within minutes, so I was really lucky. The card stock is phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. They come ready edged like this on the independently produced deck, and the matte finish and the thickness of the cardstock is superb. And I remember watching a walkthrough of this deck and my chin was on the table, because it's very rare, although, you know, and I've got nearly 500 tarot decks, and that's why it was hard to pin down these 10. But every single card in this deck I love, and I can honestly say that there isn't one that jars with me. Even the replacement card for the 10 of Swords, which I'm not going to go into, I love it. You know, yes, I wish the original was still in the deck, or we'd had a choice, but I still love the one that's in there. Knight of Cups is is pretty hot too. In fact, everybody in this deck is pretty hot. They're beautiful. But this really speaks to my soul. There is so much depth here, so much emotion. Isn't she stunning? And I've got, I was lucky enough to get an art print that was sent, and mine was the Queen of Pentacles. So I have that out on display. I think it's a beautiful, beautiful card. Look at that for the sun. Look at the energy of that card. These just feel a dream to handle as well. Look at the Devil. I just think that I love the inverted pentagram. Look, the Puppet Master. Look at the strings. Very enticing. 9 of Pentacles with the bird and the trees. Beautiful. And I had to wait a few months, even after ordering. See, the cards are that thick, you think you've got two together. And my friend Jen came over from the States. This is the replacement 10 of Swords. And she brought this deck with her, and she said, would you like to see it? And I knew it was on its way. We've got age diversity. And I was blown away by it, and I was like, I cannot wait for this deck to come. It is so beautiful. I love the Chariot there, the colours, the action. Not a single card that's jarring. It's just wonderful. How beautiful that is. And that, I love that, the Star card, gorgeous. Strength, I love the Lamb and the Lion, but I love that inner strength being represented here. And look where the lemniscate is, it's a tattoo on her arm. Death and rebirth. I'm not sure if that appears that way in the mass produce actually, or whether it's just death or rebirth. I don't remember seeing both. Here's the Hermit sitting on the edge of that beautiful rock looking out. Look at the Empress. All the water around her shoulders. Look, she is Mother Earth. Love the Two of Cups. Look at the King of Wands. I love the energy though. He's got his wand there on fire. Look at this strength. Beautiful card. Our High Priestess is on the cover of the mass-produced box. Look at the reflection here in the Justice card. It's just stunning. Absolutely gorgeous. And I'm so pleased to get a copy. I would have been happy with the Hay House, but a part of me would have yearned for this. And I know there's a lot of disappointed people out there that couldn't get it, and I do feel for those people. But it does appear every so often online on auction sites, but it goes for ridiculous amounts of money. Okay, so the last one, and remember, this isn't like number one. Number one is my Blushing Fool that I mentioned at the beginning. But it's the Shimmering Veil Tarot by Scylla Conway. And this is one of my most recent decks. It came just over a week ago, maybe coming up to 2 weeks now. And I am so in love with this deck. It is phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. I don't have a tarot deck like this. The box and everything is lovely. It's that beautiful rose petal finish. The book also the same. There's just enough information in here. You get a write-up about the card, you get your suggested meaning in your reverse, but the way it is written is beautiful. But these images, they feel channeled. I don't know any other way to describe them. They really are so deep. They only have symbols on them, but easy to know. You know, you've got a fire symbol here. It's the 4 of Wands. Here's your 4 wands. And it's the Shimmering Veil. It's, you know, however you want to term other beings, whether you see them as ascended masters, whether you see them as spirit, our ancestors, guardian angels, whatever. But a bit like the Oracle deck, the Devas of Creation, you know, it is about working with other dimensions. There is an alternative card for this, because not a lot of people, well, not saying not a lot, there are people who don't like snakes and have quite a fear of snakes, and because it's so close, there is an alternative card put in here for our Queen of Wands, which is she's actually creating electricity. So this is electricity here. So you get to choose which one, but I quite like the snake. I see her as a bit of a snake charmer. But this is just so beautiful. And I had such a visceral reaction going through this deck when I did a walkthrough of it. I wanted to cry. The images were so powerful. Now this is the Golden Fool, which is an additional card, card number 22, because the Fool creates his journey when he passes the World card and becomes all that he intended to be. So, you know, when we get to the Fool, I'll show you the journey. But look at this. It's just beautiful. There's our Moon card. And Scylla is such an incredible artist. I love this. Our 6 of Cups. Look at this landscape. A tree, children at play. And the colours. Here's the Hermit. This symbol represents that it's a major arcana. Card number 9, you get Roman numerals in the major arcana. Beautiful Hermit card. Look at the town in the distance, like a palace or a castle, or beautiful. Our Empress Mother. Look at the colours. 9 of Pentacles or coins. Look at the Strength card. Wow. Chariot. So I've only worked with this for less than 2 weeks, but I've been on such a journey with it. It speaks to my soul. And I know lots of people say that, you know, but it really does. I get it just moves me. When I pull these cards and I look at these images, I really go into the images. They just really speak to me. Look at this. I cannot get enough of it. And I get excited to work with it. You know, I think to myself, oh, I need to pull some cards from this deck. It is one of my most favourite tarot decks ever. Beautiful. Look at this. This is our High Priestess. And inside the box here, we have the High Priestess. Here's our Fool. So this is the Fool starting on his journey, the 0, looking at a little butterfly, innocent butterfly. And then here he is, card 22, having completed his journey. Oh, it's just wonderful. I love this card. Just look how powerful it is. Do you see those eyes as well? That this person in the red cloak is walking towards. So this is clouds, this is air, this is our 5 of Swords. Just beautiful. And it's a lovely size deck. It's nice and it's thick. The cardstock is wonderful. Shuffles beautifully. So that's the Shimmering Veil Tarot by Scylla Conway. So that is my top 10 all-time favourite tarot decks. So we had the Druid Craft, the Everyday Enchantment, the Spacious Tarot, the New Choice Tarot de Marseille, Deviant Moon, my Blushing Fool, the Light Seers Tarot, the Deck of the Bastard, Pagan Otherworlds, and the Shimmering Veil Tarot. Thank you for watching, guys. If you want to tell me your all-time favourite 10 tarot decks, then I'd be interested to know. Please let me know. And yeah, thank you for watching and indulging me through going through my 10 favourite decks. And until next time, go in peace. Namaste and blessed be.